Today we're going to be doing 8.4 multiplying special cases. This one should be very easy for you guys. You might like this a lot. It's a couple shortcuts. When you're squaring binomials, that means a binomial that is written in the form of a plus b quantity squared or a minus b quantity squared. That really means that the quantity is really written twice, but we can multiply them by using a shortcut. So when you see a plus b quantity squared, that really means that you write it twice. A plus b times a plus b. And if you see a minus b quantity squared, that really means a minus b and a minus b written twice. All right, so in order to use this shortcut, you must first square the first term, and the first term would be the a. Then you multiply the two terms together, so that's the a and the b. And then you will multiply that answer by 2. And then you will square the last term, which is the b. Okay? To make sure that you get the signs right, we have a little acronym that you can use. It's SSAP or SAP. Same sign, always positive. So let me show you what we're going to do. So the first example says x plus 3 quantity squared. So we're going to take the first term right here. This is number 1 term and this is number 2 term. Take the first term and square it. So x times x is x squared. Now we're going to multiply these two together. Okay, 3 times x, which is 3x. And then times the magic number 2. So it's 3x times 2, which is 6x. And then you're going to square the second term, which is the 3. 3 squared is 9. Okay? And you check to make sure you've got your signs right. It's the same sign as what's in there. Same sign. And then that last one is always positive. So same sign, always positive. So this is now our new term. This makes a trinomial. All right, the next one, we're going to square the first term, so x times x, which is x squared. We're going to multiply the two terms together. So it's going to be a negative 4 times x, which is negative 4x, times the magic number 2, which is negative 8x. And then square the last term, 4 times 4, which is 16. Now we check our SAP for our signs, same sign, so we have a negative, same sign, and this is always positive. Okay, and again, it makes a trinomial. All right, so let's do this one. This is your first term, this is your second term. Square the first term, that means everything, so that means 2x squared. Well, we square everything inside, so that's going to be 4x squared. All right, then we multiply these two together. 3 times 2 is 6. 6x times the magic number 2, which is going to be 12x. So I'm going to put 12x. And then 3 squared is 9. Let's do our signs for SAP. Same sign, always positive. And there's our trinomial. Okay, so you have to remember the rules. Multiply the first term, square it. Multiply the two together, and then times the magic number 2. And then square the last term. Okay? Now, that's if it's written this way, x plus 3 squared or x minus 3 squared. It's just this setup right here. You need to be real familiar with what this looks like. This is a binomial because it's 2 terms squared. All right, now we have another special case, which is the product of a sum and difference, which means you have the same exact terms, only one of them that is positive and one of them is negative, whereas before they were the same sign. All right, so this one has a shortcut too. All right, but just remember now we have a plus and a minus in the middle of these two terms. So this special case can also have a shortcut. What you'll do is you'll square the first term, okay, so this will be term number 1, term number 2, still, square the first term, all right, and then the second term will be squared, but it will be negative. So this will be squaring this will be 2 squared, which is 4. And our answer will be always negative. That is all that it is. It's a binomial. Now, if you wanted to make a box like we did before, and I'll show you how this works, why it's just a binomial when you're finished. Okay, I'm going to put x minus 2 and then x plus 2. And if you multiply these, it's x times x, x squared. X times a negative 2 is negative 2x. Positive 2 times x is a positive 2x. And then 2 times a negative 2 is negative 4. And remember when we did the box that the diagonals were the combining like terms. Well, that's still true. But what happens is you end up with a minus 2x and a positive 2x, so they cancel out. So that's why you totally end up with x squared minus 4, so you can do the shortcut, or you can do it box ways, but if you get real familiar with seeing these shortcuts, it'll save you a lot of time. Okay, so you can do it either way, but I'm showing you the shortcut. So let's do this one. This is the first term, this is the second term. All right, we're going to square this, so that's 5x squared. So that means everything inside is squared. 5 squared is 25. X squared is x squared. Alright, so it's going to be a minus because we know this is the same exact problem, one positive, one negative. And we're going to square the last term, which is, whoops, erase that. This is 3y squared. Okay, so that's 3 squared is 9. Y squared is y squared. And that is our final answer. And you're probably thinking, okay, well, we've got this extra letter right here. What about that? Well, when you do it the box way, you'll end up with an XY situation on both of these diagonals, and they still will cancel out. So you just have to square the first term, square the second term, and it's always going to be a negative, because that's the only way you can get a negative answer is if it's one's positive, one's negative. Okay? So this one will become, if this is the first term, and this is the second term, x squared, and 1 squared is 1, and it will always be subtraction in between that. Okay? And you'll notice that these will always be binomials, whereas the other special case was trinomials. These will always be binomials. All right, so look at this one. This one's first and second term. If we square x cubed, remember the rules, when we're raising a power to a power, that's multiplying, so that becomes x to the 6th power. And then it's always going to be subtraction on these, and 5 squared is 25. This is your binomial. So you still follow the rules that we've already learned, just showing you a shortcut. But if you have to do the box, you can do that too. All right, if you have any questions, come see me in class, but I think you'll like these shortcuts that I've showed you. See you then.